TV. The HGTV channel.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, tell her we'll probably like stop by a store or something real quick. Nearby. We'll be right up front. We'll stop by a store, but we're like right out front. Okay. Okay, cool. Not here. Hello.
Hey, Jason.
How are you doing?
Good.
Been so long.
I know.
How's everything?
I'm alright. Can't complain.
What's good? How you like it here now?
I like it better than where I was. At least I have a
I
kitchen.
mean, this is not that far, too.
And it's like, as you can see, it doesn't look like it.
Yeah, so one of the things in my past experience of doing outreach, of trying to do outreach in commercial SROs, a few years ago I tried to go in the SRO and, saw a property manager there, and I asked him, I'm like, hey, my name is Jason, I work for an organization called Vocal New York, I want to do outreach in your building to see if I can, talk to folks about getting housing. And the person looked at me, he's like, why would I let you do that? He was like, that's my check. You think I'm going to allow you to come in and talk to folks about getting housing and like leave here? It's like you taking food away. Look.
There is, yeah.
Are we
Close. Is that the next train stop?
That's but the simplest way to explain what a commercial single room occupancies are. They're pretty much like worse freshman dorms, right? They're like pretty bad. They're single rooms. They provide kind of like communal cooking facilities, some of them, if they have cooking facilities at all. But they always all have like shared bathrooms and shared like showering facilities. Holiday dinner for homeless folks living with HIV. So we created flyers that promoted a positive holiday dinner for homeless folks living with HIV. So we went to commercial SROs to do flyering in hopes that they can help post these flyers up to get folks to come out so that we can not only feed them, but then at the same time really talk about these commercial SROs. The goal is hopefully we're going to continue to do that outreach method. The goal is to get folks who are in these commercial SROs and to get them to organize their buildings.
We'll encourage folks to come out and then we can talk about it.
Struggles for me are personal, right? Because not only am I like alone, not only am I a person living with HIV/AIDS, living with HIV/AIDS. Not only am I a person living with HIV, I'm also someone who's formerly homeless. I'm also someone who's like lost partners or friends to the virus.
20% left. You got it?
I may have.
The last one.
Oh, you have to have one. Oh, thank you.
It may work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Like well, because he couldn't come in.
So more and more from doing those meetings, we've been hearing more and more about folks saying, hey, I'm paying half of my SSD check to live in this shelter, and they're kicking me out. And so I've heard that repeatedly, like these same stories about folks living in an SRO and then having to pay.
Downtown?
Yeah, so we're promoting it.
Oh.
This one, I posted some stuff on the bulletin board. It's on the 7th.
Because I know I got
Most clients do not know what their rights are and don't know that by city law that they have a right to be in medically appropriate housing. So that's the issue. Many clients just do not know that. And because we're talking about low income communities of color who have experienced historical and generational oppression, oftentimes their current situation and current living situation is something that they've normalized.
So I think what we want to do now is like every month we should probably do something like this. We just come with the House of Town Hall meeting, but just kind of like talk like House of Dinner or something like that. And then we'll get folks to do that, and then we can get folks there. Okay, cool. So I'll see y'all Monday, 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
The work that I do here at Vocal is to make sure that we build power among low-income folks living with HIV/AIDS, to make sure that we can change public policy, change housing conditions, so that we can change the direction of the epidemic, which is finding itself more and more situated and embedded in low-income communities, of color.
How you doing?
You came in on me, you didn't hug me or nothing. What is wrong with you? And I'm your sister from another mother.
You sitting over there? Yeah.
Keep it going. Work it out, sister.
Veggie.
I gotta get cigarette.
I'm about to give you some salad.
I want to thank everyone for coming. This is our first time doing an event like this. Who's first time, this is not your first time being what? Vocal? A lot of new folks, some folks a little familiar with vocal.
My name is Kevin. I'm not a newcomer.
My name is Mark. I'm a newcomer.
Okay.
Alfredo, I'm part of GMAC and I'm some vocal.
Okay.
In a way to help bring a community together, homeless folks living with HIV who live in SROs, right? We wanted to create an event to bring folks together so we could build a community to talk about SRO issues and the issues that not only impact folks who live in SROs, but then also start to identify like what are some key issues that happens in SROs that are not good, right? And then also to figure out what we can do to help either change the SRO system and to get folks out of that system and into housing. Probably like the most concerning thing is how folks are in SROs and don't know their rights, are being taken advantage of, how they've normalized their oppression, are some of the most emotional things.
I moved in there. Two of the caseworkers didn't want to go in the room because somebody was dead in there.
I got with my husband, and we moved into a nightmare. What I mean a nightmare, I was being threatened by other members, other tenants there, for minding my business.
I've been in a couple, and there was always this attitude that they weren't responsible for anything that went on, and that it was the responsibility of the residents to police the other residents, which doesn't work. And so it always made it a negative atmosphere. You keep the building in a chaotic state and everybody destabilized so that there was never any complaints made about them, so that they could continue to collect money, they could continue to kick people out whenever they felt like it without being questioned, because most of the residents there didn't really know what their rights were. It's a system that keeps us destabilized. So we can't get right because we have to keep moving, we have to keep starting over, we have to keep replacing things that we've already acquired. And if we already dealing with mental issues, say like depression, it just intensifies it.
Or we just get them to perform what they're doing. Right?
They perform their job is something else. That's not my business. My business is to stay focused on what my goals are, which is transitioning out. The solution, if I can't look at HASA, then there's maybe create a type of platform where people who are interested in trying to look for housing can go to, where they can find people who are hungry for clients looking for housing, like brokers, or people who have incentive to place people who may show up. So if you get the two together, then you'll have a work fair or some kind of housing fair where things are working, where I can find somebody, a broker, that is calling me up relentlessly trying to get me placed somewhere, you know, and I just have to show. The basic I say that because I live in a very nice place where not everybody has that incentive to want to leave because it is in a nice location, the drugs is everywhere to be found, and you know, well, people move places because they have those amenities around in the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? So if you're trying to get out of it, You need to be with other people who are trying to get out of it in places where there are people that can pull you out. And clearly, from what I'm hearing, a hostile worker is not going to get me that.
So there's a couple things that we're doing to address that, right?